tornado warning. Would set off, it's this area of the line here towards Cuyahoga Falls, Akron, Talmadge, right along Route 261 over towards General Street, Route 91, Kent. If you are in this area, you definitely want to seek shelter, go in the lowest level of your home. It again is moving to around the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So I am going to put a track on this right now. I'm going to put a wider track on this just because, like I said, this whole entire line is rotating. So within this line, there could be some quick spin up tornadoes. Normally very weak, but you still definitely want to take shelter within this. Why is that working? So Darville around 636, Kent around 646, Sugar Bush Knoll around 650, and Streetsboro around 653 for you. Black Horse around 7 o'clock. So if you're in and around Route 43 in Portage County down towards Stark County, this is also where the tornado warning is the moment. Now again, it's Doppler radar indicated. What that means is that there hasn't been a tornado spotted, or a tornado has not touched down yet, but this thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado. So if you just joined me, and I know that we're joining me on the web as well, we do have a tornado warning in eastern Summit County, much of Stark County, so central and northern Stark County. This is the shades of red that you see here, and all of Portage County, you are under this tornado warning. I'm going to put back on the rotation tracker. So this is why it's a little bit difficult to see exactly where a tornado could possibly be coming down, because we're having rotation within this whole entire line. So this line that extends all the way from Stark all the way into Summit County. So I'm going to start off with the northern tier of Summit County, and we're seeing some more moderate rotation just now east of Route 8, and this is from let's say east of Northfield Center, Twinsburg, Hudson, Darrowville. A lot of rotation just now to the west of you, so take cover if you're in these areas. Again, right along Route 91. If you live around Route 91, this line's going to be coming through this area. Could possibly spin up a very weak EF0, maybe an EF1 tornado, but you still want to be very prepared. We're seeing a lot of rotation here just now to the north and east of Cuyahoga Falls. So from Monroe Falls over towards Stowe and Gratham Road. So here's where we're getting a lot of the stronger rotation. So if you are in the area of Darrowville, over toward Brader Road, Call Road, Fairchild Ave, Judson Road, Ravenna Road in Summit and Portage County, you need to be on the lookout for this very moderate rotation here down towards Monroe Falls Ave. Now again, this is moving at around 25 miles per hour to the northeast. So hold on, let me widen out the view a little bit more so that I can get just how fast the storm is moving to bring you some accurate timing on here. Again, if you're in and around Route 91, I would definitely seek shelter immediately. Go into the lower level of your home. If you do not have a basement, get into the center portion of your home away from windows. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated rotation, meaning that a tornado could possibly touch down. Doesn't mean that it's happened yet, but there's a lot of rotation within this line. So where I'm tracking the stronger rotation, just to the northeast of Cuyahoga Falls, these are the areas that you need to be on the lookout for with this particular part of this line moving in. From Kent around 650, Brady Lake around 654. Now I'm calling out names in Portage County, 710 in Shalersville, Manaway around 715 for you, Drakesburg 720, 725 in Hiram, Wyndham at 730, and Nelson at around 735. But I'm looking at the stronger rotation at the moment, but as you can see, it is rotating this line all the way down from northern Summit County through southern Summit County into portions of Stark County. So we have very weak rotation into southern Summit County, portions of Westbrook Road over towards East Sparta, in towards North Industry. Now we're getting some weak rotation reported in the Canton area over towards Edgefield, right along 77 over towards 687, Parkman Ave. Altman, you're getting some rotation right now. So all these areas that I'm calling, again, seek shelter immediately. This line is rotating and it could drop down a tornado at any time. Right now we have no confirmation of there being a tornado that has touched down yet. It's all Doppler radar indicated, but you just want to be on the lookout for this. Again, thank you for joining me on the web, and of course we're online right now. If you have any reports, please send them my way. 241, Route 241, we have some moderate rotation over towards Britain, Eastwood Avenue. So this line getting over in towards the Talmadge area. Again, northeast of Cuyahoga Falls, Stowe. If you're in Stowe, seek shelter immediately. This is where we're getting the stronger rotation, where we could possibly have a tornado come out of this line of thunderstorms here. Graham Road over towards Hudson Drive. Darrowville, you've got some weak rotation, and then where we're getting some moderate rotation now just to the south east of Macedonia. So Valley View Road, we're picking up onto some good rotation here as well, some weak to moderate rotation at times. So it's within this line. I'm going to put on Storm Fox once again, and here's the thing. Let me take off this tornado warning. Again, East Summit County, you're under this tornado warning. Portage County and much of Stark County. This is through 7:15 this evening. So I'm going to take off this polygon just so I can show you this line. And what's really difficult, if a tornado is coming down within this line, it's going to be rain wrap. You're really not going to see it. That's why I'm saying it's very important for you to just take shelter as this line passes. It'll be in and out before you know it, but at any time it could produce EF0, maybe even an EF1 tornado. A lot of weak tornadoes come out of this, but a tornado is not a joking matter for sure. And we're getting some heavy rain from Hudson down towards Cuyahoga Falls, now just east of Akron. So right along the border of Summit and Portage County, we have that heavy line, heavy rain coming down, and that's where we're
it's come together. We have a lot of movements in this line, and anytime you get two little pieces that start to move together, that's when we have the concern that we could see some rotation. Now, a lot of times rotation does not necessarily immediately mean tornado. Many times most thunderstorms rotate, but when you start to look at the radar information, and that's why it's important to look at the wind information in the radar. This is called the velocity data, and velocity data means we are looking at the winds, not just the speeds, but we are also looking at the movement of that. This right here is of particular interest. I bet we're going to be keeping a close eye on this one too, which is in the Solon area, just about to go just toward the Chagrin Falls area, even though there's no warning there. We also have these little notches that continue clear down into Lake Township and Lakemore, and then farther down into Jackson Township as well at this point. Yeah, having people on Twitter telling me Hudson sirens are going off. Morgan just tweeted that to me. Weather sirens going off in Copley, which Copley, no worries. Let me give you guys a dividing line on this, okay? I don't know why the sirens are going off in Copley, because Copley's not under the tornado warning. The tornado warning is for areas Akron and east. You can see it here. Let me take off the radar, and there you can see where the warning is. And it encompasses the eastern half of Summit County, which would also include places like Hudson, Stowe. You get over to Macedonia and Reminderville, down through the eastern side of Cuyahoga Falls, Akron, Talmadge, then down toward the Ellett area into Greene. And then that will continue east into Portage County and Stark County as well. This is this tornado warning that has been issued. And again, we have a line line that's moving through, and there's little notches on the line that are an indication that we have some swirls, and those swirls aren't necessarily hitting the ground. I think that's very important to notice on this, and to note is that not always does this result in a tornado on the ground, but more likely than not, it could be a brief wind gust. It could be just a shift of the wind that you may notice passing through. But I think more likely than not, what you're going to see is very heavy rain, and that rain is already making itself known. We've had over an inch in the greater Cleveland area, down through Medina and Wayne counties. We do have a flood warning that was also issued. That is for this area that you see here in green. That would be this one: Cuyahoga County, Medina, Summit, Wayne County, Stark County, and Holmes County. That's a flood warning that's been issued for all this standing water that we have after we have had more than an inch of rain across most of the area. Twinsburg, Hoot Camp saying that they have the sirens going off in Twinsburg, sirens going off in Peninsula with the rain and wind blowing hard on Steeles Corners Road. That's right by Blossom. You know where that is. That's from Joseph Stankiewicz. Thank you very much. Sirens going off in Cuyahoga Falls, very windy. That's a key. And here's again where everybody kind of has to take a little bit of a deep breath and remember that wind doesn't always necessarily mean tornado, even if you're in a tornado warning, okay? Tornadoes are very particular little animals, and it's a swirl in the wind. That's different than a straight line wind. The problem is when you're sitting in your house and it sounds scary and it looks scary, you don't know which way the wind is necessarily blowing or if it's going to switch. So when we have these lines of rain showers under certain conditions like what we have going on now, there's a lot of shear that's associated with this particular line of rain that's moving through because we have already gusty winds going on. But then you have occasions where parts of the line start to bang against each other, and they begin to work in tandem, and you start to get these little wind notches like this. This is called a line echo wave pattern. We've got all different kinds of things going on, but what ends up going on is as this moves east, we will likely continue to see these little swirls that pop up on the radar. It's very important to note this is on the radar. We have had no indications as of right now that I am seeing anywhere of any damage or anything on the ground. What we have is just a pattern, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we only have a pattern to go with in these situations, and it can hit very quickly in and out. And we are already hearing these reports of people saying, yes, the sirens are going off, but we have a lot of wind that's coming along with this, too. Rob Aldridge just says now that there's no wind in North Canton. The rain has subsided, so that's good. Calming down now in Stowe, okay? Remember, when we came on just a couple minutes ago, Stowe sits right about here. And you can see that that line where these arrows are pointing, that is now moving east of Stowe. So now we have proof, at least Twitter proof, as good as that is, but I know my people, that we'll have a gust of wind that comes along with the leading edge of some really heavy rain. So this is going to be wailing rain as it moves in. And even though right now we only have I would say right now Portage County is where our threat level is. Summit County, you are severe clear at this point. I'm going to clear you guys, even though you're still technically under that warning. I think anything behind this line is going to be clear. So that would clear Summit County from the tornado warning. I'm going to tell you that I do not think there's any threat left in Summit County. West of Hudson, west of Akron, west of Cuyahoga Falls, there's nothing for you folks, okay? So Copley, Fairlawn, Norton, Barberton, nothing. Once you get across that Portage County line into Streetsboro, into Kent, into Ravenna, into Manaway, Brimfield, it's even east of Uniontown at this point. That's where we're seeing this threat. I would say up into Chagrin Falls, too. If we're going to look at this one that's down by Streetsboro, we got to look at the one that's in Chagrin Falls, too, which is Cuyahoga County and southern Geauga County. So I would tell you folks, you got some interesting weather coming your way, too. And again, officially, there is a tornado warning that has been issued. Summit County, I'm going to say Summit County is clear. So we're really focused in on Portage County and then the eastern third of Stark County. All right, now we're starting to see some sauce down around Lake and Marlborough Township, so the Lake Moore area. And if you will be patient with me, let me continue. I think these arrows are kind of helping. You see all these little bumps. This is little swirls that the radar is picking up. Now, keep in mind, and I keep saying this, but I hopefully it's somewhat comforting to people, because as soon as you mention the T word, there's a lot of panic that goes on, and I don't think we need to panic, okay? Everybody just take a deep breath. This is a tornado warning, yes. This is not the big EF Mamba Jamba 5. This is nothing like that. This is a wind shift that can cause some minor damage if indeed we have anything. We are going to focus real quick on the southwest corner of Geauga County around Bainbridge. This is south of Chagrin Falls proper, and this is going to go out toward the Auburn area. I'm going to keep it along and just north of 422. So let's put that on. Let me put a little bit different perspective on this. Let's do it this way. That's much better. Bainbridge, Taborville, Auburn, South Newberry, and Welshfield. Okay, those are areas that are kind of in the line for this swirl, this particular part of this line. Even though you are not technically under a tornado warning there, you're dealing with the same thing as what they're dealing with down here in Portage County. Again, Summit County, you are severe clear. Portage County, however, we still have several areas where we have radar indicated rotation. And again, these are just little swirls on the radar that are interestingly kind of lining up, and we still have no ground confirmation of anything. We've not heard any reports of funnel clouds. Basically, this is all radar indicated, and this is a signature on the radar, yes, that we could have some potential problems as far as these gusty winds go. I've got a lot of folks on my Twitter feed that are telling me that they do indeed get gusty winds, very heavy rain as this line passes through. But so far, we have not had any reports of damage. Adam Van Ho on my Twitter feed saying just rain on the Stowe-Silver Lake border. No major wind, just very wet. Okay, so that was probably just south of where that swirl was that went through. Stowe, it was calm, and then the wind, and then massive rainfall moved through quickly. That's exactly what this is going to be. That's a tweet from Denise. Lots of rain, no real wind. Not sure where you are, Stephanie, but just let me know if you have a report for me, and, you know, I appreciate that. Just let me know where you are. That's kind of a big deal when we're dealing with all this. And so when we get these gusty winds that are going to move through, if you have any people have been getting their patio furniture out because the weather warmed up quickly, you're going to regret getting it out, but that can be problematic. Let's go down towards Stark County. This is where things start to get a little bit shaky as far as the radar picture goes, but we're seeing that exact same thing, these little swirls that are popping up. One that's moving right along that Portage, Stark County line, just north of Louisville. There's one that's headed toward Alliance and then into the Louisville area as well. I can't stress enough that I don't think this is a moment to panic. I know we are saying this is a tornado warning, and it is, and we are covering nightly news, and I do apologize for that, but this is going to take precedence right now, because as soon as we go into any kind of a warning, specifically a tornado warning, we start to kind of raise the red flag, and folks, we key in on those folks. So I appreciate the rest of Northern Ohio as being patient in all of this as we're dealing with what can be a very scary situation for some people, just simply because we have all of this going on at once, and it kind of came up as a surprise. Just got a text from a friend in Streetsboro. Claire said heavy rain and winds just picked up quite a bit, a few large gusts here. It's exactly what I was just talking about. You're going to have very gusty wind, you're going to have very heavy rain, and then it's going to move by. Then it's going to back off. Again, Summit County is severe clear at this point. Areas Canton, Massillon, and West, you are severe clear in Stark County. In Portage County, we're still dealing with this. And again, we're going from Aurora down to Streetsboro, down to Kent. This is coming now into the Ravenna area. You get down toward Brimfield, and then hop over toward Marlborough Township and northern portions of Stark County, and then into the eastern edges of Stark County around Alliance and Minerva and points farther to the east. Ravenna, Alliance, Lexington, Smith, Middlefield, Newton. That's the whole line. Southern Geauga County all the way south down through Portage County into Stark County and points a little bit farther east. But this is where we have this threat with these gusty winds that are coming along with this line of very heavy rain, and it can be a little daunting. Getting a tweet in from Cheers to All, great Twitter handle, in Aurora, very heavy rain. Chaz says everything's okay in Hudson. The sirens are going off at Kent State. That's just fine. Kent State right now in the thick of things, as is Kent. Ravenna, this is coming your way next. Hardly any rain in Ravenna right now. Well, that will be changing rather quickly, actually, as this starts to move in. There's some people that are still saying they aren't getting anything, and they're right in the middle of all of this. So this is one of these changeable situations. And talk about changeable situations, friends. By 24 hours from right now, we are going to be keeping an eye on snow here in Northeast Ohio. So we're going from tornado warnings to chances for snow. OH, right? Here we go. This is the way we roll in Northeast Ohio. So this line, as I mentioned, continuing to move to the east. We are in southwest corner of Geauga County. There is no official tornado warning there, but the pattern looks just the same as the areas that actually have the tornado warnings. So might as well do the proper thing, and better safe than sorry, right? So that'd be Auburn Township and out along 422, maybe just north of that area now, headed up into central portions of Geauga County. There, if we put this in motion, you can kind of see that little swirl right there. So let's track that to the northeast. We're going to go north of 322. I'm going to aim it just a little farther north, out toward the Middlefield area. And you can kind of rock it back and forth. And this is what we're looking at, this little notch here where we go green and red, kind of this little yin and yang symbol. Unfortunately, it's not so yin and yang. It's kind of yucky, but you can see how it holds together. Okay, that's a swirl. That's what's going on. That's up in the air. No ground confirmation as of yet. Okay, remember, that's Geauga County. No official tornado warning for Geauga County as of right now. But we go down into Portage County, and there's not one, but it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 of these things where we have these swirls going on. There's one here that's going right across the turnpike right now, one a little bit farther south on the east side of Kent. And then once we get into areas south of Kent, you get down toward Brimfield, Suffield, that's where we're dealing with this. This will continue to the east on 224, on 76, and then also along I-80. A couple things to report on the flooding front, because we obviously have had quite a bit of flooding today, a lot of standing water because we have had over an inch of rain in much of northern Ohio. Cleveland police tweeting out Valley Road, the Jennings is closed until further notice. So that's Valley Road at Jennings. I-77 north at 490. There's reports of a landslide in a construction area from flooding going down to one lane a quarter mile before the exit. So that's the 77-490 interchange here in downtown Cleveland, and that is a big problem. We also have reports that there's some road closures in some outlying areas. Sharon Township reporting Sharon Copley Road is closed right now because of some flooding. So a lot of people are starting to say where they have been, the sirens are turning off. Summit County, reminder, Summit County is severe clear. Eastern sections of Stark County still dealing with it. It's coming through Louisville right now, headed out toward the Minerva and Alliance areas. And then again, we have these 4 swirls that we are keeping an eye on in Portage County. One that's running just along and north of the turnpike that's coming through Streetsboro right now. You get just east of Kent, there's another one. Actually, there's 2. And then you head farther south, just coming out of the Brimfield area or so, Suffield area. We're dealing with that next one. And as we continue to kind of we'll just track the whole line, because I think that's a lot easier to do, and you can see that will continue to move to the north. Ravenna, Shalersville, Edinburgh, Hiram, Garrettsville, and Parkman. So what you will experience is a brief burst of wind. It could be a wind shift that moves through. That's the tornado warning. And then very heavy rain, and then it will calm down. So this is right along the leading edge of this band of heavy rain that's moving through. And again, the wind shift can be very scary. People go, whoa, and then it's gone. But the problem is when you get a burst of wind and a wind shift, that can cause damage. It's very quick, it's fast, it's done, it's over. But it can cause damage, and that can be a big problem. It looks like the National Weather Service has split the tornado warning, okay? So you can see we have a box that includes Akron and Canton, and then we have second boxes here that include Ritztown, Alliance, and Minerva. The first box, this one back here, this is Summit County and Central Stark County. You are severe clear. So behind the line, we are severe clear. Akron, Canton, Talmadge, up through Hudson, Silver Lake, Stowe, clear. No worries. You are done. It's over. You're good to go. Just heavy rain falling at this point. However, in the eastern part of Stark County and then much of the central and eastern part of Portage County, we still have tornado warnings in effect, and that is because of these little swirls that are coming through. Still not seeing, so yeah, the tornado warning for Summit County has officially been canceled. That's what I was telling you before. And then we still just have this radar indicated tornado for Stark and for Portage counties. And remember, this is radar indicated. This is not an EF5 on the ground. This is not major damage that's going to be happening. But what we could have is some minor damage due to this gusty wind that is passing through. And as it does so, it will also be accompanied by some very heavy rain. The National Weather Service does not take tornado warnings lightly. This is a big deal to them. They don't issue them just randomly. They have reason to do it, and you know, I respect the Polygon. I have a good friend, James Spann, down in Alabama. He is a very famous meteorologist in those parts, and his saying is always respect the Polygon. National Weather Service is keyed in on one area for a reason. But as a meteorologist, then I can kind of go beyond that a little bit and do a little interpreting. And that's why I focus in here on southern Geauga County, because we have one of those same swirls going on there. It's not quite as pronounced, but Auburn, Newberry, Welshfield, Burton, Middlefield, and Huntsburg. This continues to move to the east-northeast, so this is now just north of 422. As it continues through the southern sections of Geauga County, it will be approaching 322, but I think that will happen once it gets east of 44. If you aren't from Geauga County, you probably have no idea what kind of numbers I'm talking about, but those are all roads and major roads at that. Then we get into Portage County, and this is kind of where it's game on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these little swirls that we're watching. And this one that just is coming through the Streetsboro area right now is going to be coming through Shalersville. That's the one that has had the most pronounced signature. And if I go ahead, I'm going to put a line there for you so you know which one I'm talking about. This one right here. If I back it up a little bit, you can see how that has kind of held together, that little notch, that swirl. So I have not yet seen anything from the National Weather Service that's telling me we have anything that's touchdown, anything ground confirmed. I have not seen that we have anything as far as damage. But certainly this is kind of part and parcel with the craziness that is going on right now as we have very heavy rain. There's flooding all over the place. We even have I-77 at 490 that is down to one lane because of a mini landslide at a construction site. And now we have tornado warnings, and tomorrow we have a chance for snow. So, you know, the beat goes on, unfortunately. We keep an eye on not only Portage County, still under that tornado warning, east of Kent, but we also keep an eye on Stark County, where we have a tornado warning. Much less pronounced rotation in this, but still that pattern was present. And as this continues to move east, certainly we're going to have the same gusty wind problems for Minerva and Alliance that we had back in Canton, North Jackson, and Lake Township, and the Marlboro Township area. But most definitely, it's Portage County that's at least on radar showing the best signatures. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have 2, I would say, that are better pronounced as far as these signatures go than others, and that would be this one that we've been keeping an eye on, which is about to move into southern Geauga County. Track this up this way. So that would be up into Manaway Corners, Hiram, and Parkman, and then crossing up toward the Middlefield area. I think may clip into southern Middlefield there, up in Geauga County. And then farther to the south, just coming out of the Brimfield area, once you get down toward Yale, Palmyra, Craig Beach, and Shilltown, that's getting over into other counties now, but certainly central portions of Portage County also dealing with, in the south flank of Portage County, also getting in on some of this action with this particular tornado warning right now. Getting a lot of reports of wind and rain. That's it so far, everybody. Okay, so I know it's scary when you know we come on and it's the T word and everybody's very worried and upset. Well, keep in mind, take a deep breath. I'm here with you. I'm walking you through. I am seeing the potential, yes, that we could have some swirls, some shifting winds, and shifting winds over a very small area and at high speeds can cause problems. That's called a tornado, but you know as well as I do that you don't necessarily have to have a tornado to have any kind of damage. So if you just have a gust of wind that comes through and knocks a branch out, what's to say that was a tornado versus something else? Well, it can't be determined tonight. If anything, if there is damage, and we do not have any indications of that, that wouldn't be determined probably until tomorrow, simply because we're getting into darkness now, and because there's really nothing to report. The main indicator of damage between tornado and straight line winds is how things are chewed up. A tornado will chew stuff up. A straight line wind will just basically push it over, and sometimes things tumble and break apart. So there's a little bit of forensic science that goes into that. We're not seeing major tornado threats. This is a low-end tornado threat, but it's enough of a threat the National Weather Service issued the warning. So still focusing on northern Portage County, Manaway Corners, Hiram, Parkman, and Southington. We're going to clip into the southeast corner of Geauga County as well. Into central Geauga County, this particular area, which is not tornado warned, but it's still showing that same kind of pattern, that same swirl pattern. That one is headed through Newbury, Burton, Clarendon, and Huntsburg. You're going to get a brief gust of wind. It's going to rain crazy, and then it'll start to settle down a little bit. That's the leading edge of the line. As we go farther south, we go along 76 before it meets up with 80. So we're at 76 and 224 in Portage County, kind of that entire corridor there. We are seeing that possibility of some wind surges that could be coming through, and that could be problematic. Rain coming down strong in Ravenna now, thanks to JD for tweeting that one in to me. Mary Louise says it's okay in Shalersville, just heavy rain. All is well. And I have a feeling most people, that's all this is. It's going to be heavy rain and a brief gust of wind, and then it's over. And the problem with that is that, you know, there could be some damage that's reported. And because of the way the radar is looking, the National Weather Service issued the tornado warning. So we can get radar indicated tornado warnings without necessarily having tornadoes. Now, I'm just getting some video right now in from Karen Lesor, and I will retweet this. And I'm going to bring the station into that, obviously, and I will also tag the National Weather Service on this. There we go. And it's video of the skies moments after tornado warnings went off at 6:32. And what I'm seeing here is SLCs, very technical word for scary looking clouds, and I think that's probably the biggest issue that we're going to have. That's not necessarily showing anything to me that is looking like a funnel. It doesn't mean there isn't one, but as far as major indications and major organization, that's not there. But thank you very much, Karen Lesur, for that. I just retweeted that on my feed. That's at Betsy Kling. Most of what I'm getting in from folks is about the rain, not the wind, and that is certainly a very, very understandable situation. Let me go over these warnings once again that we have. We have a tornado warning that is in central and eastern sections of Portage County that's along a line of some radar indicated wind interest, we'll call it. that's moving eastbound. Then that would also include eastern sections of Stark County. That would include Alliance and Minerva at this point. Much less organized, at least on the radar, as far as that goes, but it's the same kind of pattern that goes that far south, so we're going to carry that eastward. Then you see Cuyahoga, Medina, Summit, Wayne, Holmes, and Stark counties lit up in that bright green. That is a flood warning that has been issued. We have widespread standing water across most of the area. Valley Road at Jennings is closed in Cleveland because of flooding. That's until further notice. We have Cleveland police reporting I-77 north at 490. There's a report of a landslide in a construction area from flooding. They are going to close that down to one lane a quarter mile before the exit. So 77, 490, anywhere around that area, just be careful. And then we have a lot of other roads. Sharon Township Fire Department was reporting Sharon Copley Road closed at this time because of some flooding. So if you have to go out this evening, which I'm not quite sure anybody really wants to in this weather, but if you have to go out this evening, do keep in mind that you will be running into flooded roadways, and those flooded roadways, the best policy, turn around, don't drown. All right, so just to keep everybody up to date, we're still watching this line and these swirls, and they're falling apart, which is great news. And I think there's a couple things that are going on here. Number one, we're getting farther away from the radar. There's one, there's one, there's one. This is kind of one, and then maybe down just to the southeast of Atwater, too. We're getting farther away from the radar, so that means we're looking higher up into this line of rain. And it seems to me that the better organization as far as the swirls may have been in the lower levels, which is a concern, and that's why we have these tornado warnings. As the line moves through, you will get a brief gust of wind, a big burst of rain, and then it should settle down. Summit County, western Stark County, so I'd say west of 43, west of Route 43, you are severe clear. Kent, severe clear. Streetsboro, severe clear. Suffield, severe clear. Rootstown, severe clear. Ravenna, you're in it. Manaway, you're in it. And areas in eastern sections, Charlestown, you're in it. It's coming in right now. It's going to be moving through. Hiram, Nelson, Wyndham, still to come, so hang in there. And then farther south, Edinburgh, Palmyra, and then once you get through Atwater and then down into eastern portions of Stark County, Lexington, Alliance, you still have this coming your way as we go through about the next 20 minutes or so. So just something to keep in mind on all of that. Once we get this kind of settled down just a little bit, I'm going to give this just another minute, and I'm probably just going to pop out and just keep an eye on it. But we, of course, will monitor the situation. I mean, I'm still not hearing about any damage from anything. Everything has just been radar indicated. I haven't seen anything official coming in from the National Weather Service, and it's just an interesting situation that's going on this evening. And we're going to confirm, there's some people who are saying Manchester Road in Akron. All right, let's see. We've got a couple people that are tweeting me about that, that there is a car that's been flipped in a parking lot, and they sent me a picture. I have one person that sent me a picture. I have two people that sent me a picture. So to me, that kind of raises the level a little bit. We will have the news folks check that out. And otherwise, we have not heard anything. Remember what I was saying? A gust of wind, when it's coming through, it doesn't matter if it's spinning or not. We won't be able to tell you if it's a tornado or not. What it is a gust of wind initially that could cause damage, and then it's out of there. That's along this leading line, this leading edge of these rain showers. Now, if I pop back on the actual rain, it does not look very bad. This is exactly what it looked like at 6 o'clock when we just brought you the news. It looked like a line of very gusty rain, maybe some brief hail. I have not even seen any lightning in this, no thunder. It's just a wind surge and a lot of rain, and then things settle down. So that's good news. I'm just trying to keep an eye on my Twitter feed as we're doing all this. Tyler says Ravenna had lots of wind and rain, and then it settled down. Let's see. People are sending me quite a few things here. I'm just trying to decipher. quickly, which is hard to do. But the line is now coming through Lake County, so from around Paynesville down into Chardon, just coming into Chardon now. Again, not seeing any tornado threat there yet. There's some swirls, but nothing that's major or radar indicated. Well, major as it is radar indicated. And then farther south through Portage County and now coming into the Alliance area. When we talk about tornadoes, we have to talk about wind. That's just the way it is. It's not always the easiest thing, but it's what you have to do, because the rain doesn't always help us as far as the patterns go. We need to know which way those raindrops are going, and that's where Doppler radar comes in. Our little swirl is now going to cross over the county line from Portage County into southeastern Geauga County. And if I track that particular one, I'm going to take it northeast. Hiram Rapids, Parkman, Bundysburg, and Farmington. We're getting into the northwest corner of Trumbull County as well out of this. Pardon me. And if we go a little bit farther south toward that second one, Drakesburg, Windham, Nelson, Phalanx, and Southington. That's that second little swirl that we're seeing. And if we go farther south yet, another one. Isn't this fun? Just pick them out, read them off. Charlestown, Wayland, McClintocksburg, South Canal, and Newton. So now again, we're headed through that eastern side of Portage County, getting into some of these little hills and dales. And then farther down to the south, Shillings Mill and Shilltown. Here in about the next half hour or so. Keep in mind, this did indeed come through the Akron area not too long ago. Manchester Road is on the south end of Akron, and if we back this bad boy up, you can see those same little swirlies passing through, right? Just like that. And that same swirl is right now the one that is coming through Ravenna and then moving into eastern portions of Portage County. So if indeed and it does look like we had some kind of wind damage right around the areas of Manchester Road in Akron. Also hearing that there's the possibility of some damage to the roof of the Amazon facility in Twinsburg. That's that northern one. That's the one that's now moving up into southern Geauga County. These brief wind gusts. And again, this is not anything that's been confirmed. This is not anything that's telling me we have had a tornado touch down. National Weather Service is basically issuing this tornado warning simply based off of a pattern they are seeing on radar. And now we have some areas that we have seen that we have potential damage. Just checking in, the National Weather Service has expired the tornado warning for Portage and Stark. And I do believe that is this one that we are tracking. So we are going to bop out. I'm going to keep an eye on this. So that tornado warning has now expired, 7:17 p.m. And we will, of course, be keeping a very close eye on this for about the next half hour or so here at Channel 3 to see what we can do. So hang in there, gang. Lots of rain still to come. And guess what? We have snow in the forecast for tomorrow.
Touchdown right in front of their eyes, and they saw at least 2 cars flip over. And what's left over now, just debris all over the ground and tree branches like this. This one still has some wires left on it. And if you look above me right now, you can see that the traffic lights are not working anymore. They're just flashing red. ODOT crews just arrived, and they're waiting for the technicians to get here and fix the traffic lights. You're looking at a car flipped over in the parking lot of the Acme grocery store and another one at the Wendy's across the street. One of the witnesses told us off camera that the car belongs to a Wendy's employee. A second car was pushed off to the parking lot into the grass, as you can see. We also reached out to another witness on Facebook who later talked to us over the phone.
Like the wind picked up real bad. And it wasn't gust, it was full force wind.
She told us she saw the whole thing happen right in front of her eyes at around 6:30 this evening, calling it a full-fledged tornado.
And I saw a funnel, and I saw it spinning, and I saw it hit the ground. And I cruised my Wendy's, picked that car up like a piece of paper, slam it back down.
At that point, she said she just wanted to go home with her grandma, who was inside Acme shopping at the time.
I actually went in acne and ran around trying to find my grandma.
And on the other side of Manchester Road, the Burger King sign torn down and smashed. And earlier today over in Cleveland, we saw a mudslide reported by Cleveland police on I-77 North near 490. It was at the construction zone caused by heavy rains and flooding. Now, despite those reports from witnesses and those pictures you saw of tornadoes possibly touching down in this area, we have yet to confirm that officially with authorities. We'll let you know of any updates. And now we're going to be continuing our team coverage tonight, so I'm going to turn it over to Don Kendrick with more on the severe flooding we're seeing. Don?
Thank you so much. We're coming to you live from the back patio here at Channel 3. Behind me, the Shoreway, where just a couple of hours ago, a weather-related accident, we were in it. And from the roadways, everywhere else, if you're hearing me right now, chances are you experienced some of this that's still coming down. But let me show you, some people saw more of it and sweated it out more than others. Bad deja vu in Broadview Heights as the Zamborski family on Falls Lane held their breath again tonight as the water rose. It rushes out from an overflowing retention basin behind their home, and then the neighborhood braces for the worst. Here's what they saw tonight. After rushing between those homes, that water receded before it crept up to their homes. Grateful tonight because in 54 years their home has flooded, they said, at least 10 times. Last time we were in Waders with the Zambrowskis, they described, quote, a raging river coming straight at our house because it has nowhere else to go. And then there's this tonight near Jennings and Valley Roads. In Cleveland, it was a bad day for this guy. A car partially submerged in floodwaters up to the taillights, police blocking the road to spare the next guy. In North Royalton, State Road near Wallings, a flooded backyard on Lisa Lane. The homeowner says normally it's just a little stream and that they have never seen anything this bad. Breathtaking is the way they described it tonight. People who live there expect it will still be making for some headaches tomorrow. What are your Soggy Sunday stories? Do you have pictures? Do you have your own stories? If you would, send them to me, Dawn Kendrick, TV3. Glad to see your stories and report on them tomorrow as we continue to tell you personally that it is, in fact, still coming down in downtown Cleveland. I'm Dawn Kendrick reporting live from the back porch at Channel 3. Channel 3 News.
Dawn, thanks. Dawn's Cuyahoga County. Jennifer was in Summit. Let's go to Portage, Kent State today. Students responding to tornado sirens and warnings to take shelter. As you can see here, they were lining the halls of their dorms as the warnings got loud. Several students having fun with the moment. Others pointing out how casually others were taking all this. In the end, no injuries or damage reported at Kent State, thankfully. Often the scene of massive flooding. Check out this Facebook video from the Sam's Club at Brook Park and Tiedemann Roads in Brooklyn. This is just outside, obviously, that parking lot. A massive lake formed there tonight, formed fast. Some shoppers went in, their cars were fine. They went in, did a little shopping. They came out to find this lake awaiting them.
Now to Twinsburg, damage to the Amazon Fulfillment Center there. This is the roof where winds ripped a 50 by 100-foot hole. There's water damage inside, too. 2 workers had minor injuries. Amazon says the building will be closed as they assess the damage and reroute deliveries. And take a look at flooding caused by Lake Erie waves crashing over the walls in Ottawa County. This is near Camp Perry and the western basin of Lake Erie. Again, the flooding is not from rain. It's from water from Lake Erie washing ashore. Betsy will be